Hey guys, what's going on? Branton here. So I'm in the fish room again, wanting to show you guys another product I got sent from Hygger. So they sent me an air pump before. That's the AC/DC pump with the battery backup, and that was a great pump. But I wanted something a little bit stronger to be able to power a few more tanks and maybe a few more drops for some breeder boxes, etc. And let me tell you, this pump that they sent me really does the job. No lie, when when I unplugged the old air pump and plugged it, the current line into the new pump, it blew the the polycarbonate lids off of my tanks. There was so much air coming out of the sponge filters. So before I show you guys the pump and the fish room and how it's working throughout the fish room, I want to take you guys to the website and run you through the instruction manual for a second and kind of show you some of the specifications of this pump and all the features that it has. So let's do that, and then I'll take you around the fish room and we'll see how this thing is working. Alright guys, so here's the pump on the Hygger website. They got a few, little pictures of it here. And it scrolls down, shows you all the models. So you've got the 30, 50, 80, and 160, and that stands for liters per hour. You can see the gallons per hour there. So it gets into, it's got a pure copper motor, super power, high efficiency, low energy consumption, and a long service life. Explains what it comes with, shows you how it's got a pure copper coil, the heat dissipation, how quiet it is. So it's a multi-layer noise reduction, sound absorption, and soundproof. The thing is waterproof, which is kind of cool. You can use it outside, and it just explains some applications you can use it for. And then again, it's showing the different models, lets you know to put a check valve on it, yada yada. Some of the accessories it comes with. I'm using the copper nozzle pictured on the right there. And yeah, right there to the right is the pump that I had running before this one. Alright guys, so I want to give you a look into the user manual here, and the specific reason for this is because of the product specifications for each model. So there's 4 different models, okay? You got the 30, the 50, the 80, and the 160. So the 80 is the one that I have. So what that is, these are all liters per minute, so that's the number there. And that's 1,270 gallons per hour, which is great. Obviously this one's a lot bigger, but if you come up here, so the copper nozzle only comes on the 2 higher powered models, and I have the 80 with the copper nozzle, so that is a huge plus for me because you don't have to make too much modification to set it up with an air loop, which is nice as far as using tubing goes. So this came with a 17-in-1 valve diverter, which I am not using. I'm using a diverter that I had on the previous pump, which is an 18 valve diverter. And then over here, the 160 comes with a 46-in-1. So I'll show you guys how many times I actually have this split. It comes with the 17, but I'm telling you, I got it split a lot more times than that, and I'm still pushing a ton of air. Alright guys, so for those of you that haven't seen the first video, this is the first pump that Hygger sent me. And this thing is a workhorse. It powered all these tanks and these buckets down here. So I use these buckets. I got some orange Venezuelans in that old Cheeto ball bucket. You know, these buckets, these 3 buckets here are just holding plants for now. But if I ever need to use them to hatch out some eggs, I've got them there. But this thing was not strong enough to power all of this. So I got tank right there. I got another stone running there. I got another tank there. Breeder boxes down there, and another tank. I got a tank here, 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 and here. I'm also running the 2 Zis brine hatcheries, and then eventually I want to set up these 3 other breeder boxes. Shout out to Alex. But yeah, so this right here is the new pump. And I've got it hooked up. Let me get this leaf out of the way here. So I've got it hooked up with the tubing that came with that first pump. And there's that big gang valve that, if you guys saw my first video, you probably remember. So this is a 19-way gang valve. And then I've got it ran to a 4-way gang valve. And then this one runs to this one. So another 4-way gang valve. And then I've got it ran against the wall and behind this tank here. I've got it ran down to this gang valve, which then runs over. One of them's power in this little jar here. So this is, I'm trying to get some green water going in this jar, but it's not really working. I got some infusoria in here. It's powering the blackworm tank down here. Like I said, it's bubbling these 2 Zis hatcheries, and then I got my CPDs up here. But I ran it from over there, behind this, and then I've got it right here to another gang valve. And then this gang valve runs over here to this gang valve. And then this gang valve is powering some tanks down here. So we got some black mollies, and these are the new green laser cories. And then I've got my Apistos. They're growing out, so I've got some Apistogramma in here. They don't want to focus, but yeah, there's a bunch of baby Apistoborellis in here. And then here's the pygmy sunfish tank. And then up here, I've got some guppies and a bristlenose. But so it's running all these filters, and I mean, the air coming out of them is just great. So I can't say how much that I like the way. Oh yeah, I forgot I got another one down there running all these buckets. So this thing is split. Let's count them. We got 19, 20. We got 21, 22, 23, 24. And then we've got 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37 ways currently. And I think this thing will push a lot more air than it currently is. You notice all these valves, they aren't all the way open. But yeah, so when I first plugged, so I took this off of the old one here, so it connected here, and I just plugged it right into the new one. Well, these sponge filters up here that are bubbling straight up, so you can see they're bubbling up in the back, it actually took and blew these lids. The air was coming out of them so hard that it blew the backs of these lids up, and I had water shooting out of the tank. That was kind of crazy. So I had to hurry up and you know, kind of restrict the air a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I've got really good flow. I'm running this breeder box here. I've got another breeder box up there. So the goal is to run those 3 breeder boxes over there, and then I've got some more hang-on breeder boxes that I want to put on these tanks, and I should be able to do it all with this Hygger pump. Yeah, this is that HG 12580, and this thing is great. It's not super loud, so I really like that. It does, let's see here, it's a little warm. It's not bad though. I mean, you know, you can just tell that it's on just because it's got a slight warmth to it. But what I've found is that the warmth actually heats up the air slightly, and the air is obviously going into the tanks. So I've noticed that I don't even have to run the few tanks that I have heaters in. So like this would be one of them. The other one would be the Borelli tank back there. I've got a heater going. But my heaters aren't kicking on as often because I'm getting a little bit of residual warmth coming from the heat of the machine being pumped into the tanks. And obviously with the lids, it retains that heat pretty well. So yeah, really impressed with this pump. I appreciate it, Hygger. Thank you very much. I am really excited to keep this pump working and really, I mean, really supply this fish room with air. I mean, it's been so nice to not have to run individual pumps on all of these tanks. Yeah, here's a bunch of my Pseudo McGill fry. These are a mix of Signifer and Luminatus, and they all came out of this breeder box. Currently, I have a bunch of pygmy sunfish eggs in here. But again, I mean, these things require air to run, and it's so nice that I can just take it, you know, I can just, if I really had to, I could probably just take one of these off, throw it into another 4-way gang valve or whatever, and just be able to run air wherever I need in the fish room. So it's really, really nice. There's a few of the pumps that I was able to get rid of. I mean, I got rid of, so this thing had its own, basically I was just running these buckets and that. So I got rid of pumps there, pumps here, pumps over here. I got rid of pumps that were powering that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the energy cost savings that I can do with this pump. Yeah, it's been running for what, about 3 weeks now, and let me tell you that it is very consistent. I don't have to constantly adjust these valves, which is nice, because having to adjust all these valves all the time would be a real pain, and I have not yet found that I have to do that. So that is another huge plus. So yeah, with that, guys, I'm going to end this video. Shout out to Hygger. I'll have a link in the description if you want to go and check it out on their website yourself. But so far, so good on this one. Comes highly recommended for me short term. We'll see how it does long term, how it holds up. A question you may have is if you can buy replacement diaphragms. They do. The factory I got with Nicole, the Hygger rep, and she does. The factory that these are made at, they do have replacement diaphragms. So should one ever fail, you are able to get a replacement, which is really nice. But yeah, I mean, so far so good on this pump. I love it. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.